Morning. I've just picked up from Screwfix. Had a really good, successful day. A bit of learning from how to use the sander and stuff. Today, one thing I want to do is just do a quick clean all the windows on the scaffolding, because I think it's coming down tomorrow. Keep saying it's tomorrow or next week or whatever, but still yet to have seen it come down. But anyway, go clean some of the glass outside, just so you know, don't have to get like a window cleaner in or something. And then also, I've got just picked up some paint stripper, because there's just like the sort of indents within flat boards, which are no longer flat obviously because they're quite worn, a lot of the boards, but they've turned up really nicely, but they've still got little bits you can't get the sander in because it's a flat sander. So I've got some paint stripper to get rid of the paint, and then also get the hand sander in there, and then I'm going to have a go with all of the edges, the edge sander, which hopefully I think I can actually finish today on that room, because that'll be epic, because then we've got the electricians a week on Monday, we can move in there, that can be our room, live like humans on a bed, you know, shut off from the rest of the house. And obviously I need to paint it as well, but if we've done the sanding, we can do the painting. Yeah, so that's that, and I'll give you a little update later. You'll get bored of sanding, I'm sure. As I was saying, I thought I'd give all the windows a clean, so I'm just at the front. This is, I should say, all this garden over here, they've just put this nice fence up. They're doing really good work. But more important is our house. And look at these beautiful windows. They've all been repainted and touched up. And I'm just giving them spray and clean from the outside, just while we've got the scaffolding here. Can't wait for it to go. Yeah, but they're really handsome. And a little bit of trivia for you. Why are windows like this? Well, back in the day, those were the cheap windows, because they are like the end of the line. So they come up with like a bobble. Everyone is absolutely unique. So you'll see like that is completely different to that. But then it actually became trendy. So now this is probably an example of when it was trendy. So they just had a couple just to show that they were slightly cooler, but they are really interesting in their own right, and they're all unique. So I think they're like the end of the line. I don't quite know how it works, but that's where it like bobbled, so it's not flat. But yeah, there you go. There's our windows. Tin roof. Can't wait to have our own roof, but our own roof. I'm just trying to clean these bigger ones. Clean that one. God, it looks so much better. And then that's what they looked like before. So dirty, but the roof is looking pucker, I must say. I've never actually been up here on top of the window. Yeah, I mean, not scary with this scaffolding. I feel like I've got something to fall onto. But yeah, up here you can just see Canary Wharf over there. You can see the city over there. I mean, not like this is a viewpoint from any of our windows, but yeah, interesting. You can see all the rendering work out down the wall, all the LED work, all amazing. Yeah, really great stuff up here. So I'll finish off this one, see how we get on. So this is what I was talking about in terms of like the little knots, or like sort of where it's not flat, like particularly that. What I'm doing here is I'm just applying this paint stripper, which you kind of put on, and then you leave on for an hour with a scrapey brush. And then, yeah, then hopefully I come back and I'll be able to scrape it all off. All of these, I think the dark comes from the paint. But they might still be dark because they're kind of darker notches anyway. But yeah, I'm hoping it makes quite a big difference. But this is the floor at the moment. It's looking pretty nice, quite light, and just feels cleaner more than anything. Makes the room feel really big. And then yeah, and then I'll go and crack on with these edges. Probably going to be this afternoon if I have to wait for an hour for this, and then yeah, all those nice edges. So I've done 2 layers of the paint stripper. Actually having a lot of success. I mean, this, just like this area, this like beam here, you can see it's a lot lighter now. And I'm just using the hand sander on these little notches. Just give it a go. I'm going to attempt these darker spots, and I'll just show you how that looks in a sec for these ones here. It's the same spot. From after, you've still got these notches, but definitely makes an improvement. So I've had to sand it down with the sander on every bit. These are still quite dark, but I think they'll lighten up as I do more sands.
But yeah, and it's a bit wet, 'cause then I mopped it all, which takes off any residual of that, whatever stuff it is, stripper. Yeah, so now finally going to do the edges. Let's see how they are. I hope it's not as exhausting. I'm pretty exhausted as before, but we'll see. That edge sander is like 10 times more difficult to deal with than the Rolly one. It is like my arms are just jelly, and you can I realised later when the sandpaper just ripped off. I did a time lapse, maybe I'll post that. It just ripped off, I had to stop. I was like, what the hell's going on after like only a few meters? You can only go one way, which wasn't what the guy I followed on YouTube did. But anyway, so now I've changed to strategy, go one way, and sort of result so far. So I've got these edges sort of sanded, and I really think it's just so vigorous. I can't like really approach this, otherwise I'll just damage the radiator. And it kind of works okay if you've got a straight edge and straight boards, but then there's just varying patches. So that worked quite well because it's kind of straight there. And that worked relatively well, but then like getting in these cubby holes, quite difficult. But all in all, it's actually looking like not too bad. I mean, it's a very old floor, and it's got that character, all these weird chips. I don't know what these are. They must be something. It looks like they've kind of like just chipped over the years. Maybe like people dragging stuff, I don't know. But it's got it all like along kind of here, but less so in the middle. I don't know, strange. So yeah, I'm gonna call it a day. I'm gonna utilize the hand sander a bit more, because this is okay for edges and it works like just for a bit, but like it didn't capture these bits. They only it does like a line. So I'm gonna have to do that with a hand sander, because the big sander doesn't do that. And then when I next get going, I will think I start going up a couple of grits once I've sorted out the very edges again. But I think not a million miles off, and these have lightened up a lot since using the paint stripper, so I'm quite pleased with that. Yeah, but hard work over for today. But yeah, on to the next one. So quite a big day today. Just had some lunch, but I've spent since like 8 AM more sanding, and basically getting at all of the darker patches. Oh, can't really see the window light, but the floor is looking phenomenal now. I've got all around these edges as far as you can. You have a skirting board, so it covers it up a bit. I put down these temporarily. Obviously it'd be nice to have like a concrete half, but I think that's quite good cutting for myself. And these have lightened up a lot. So it's looking really good, and actually it's all really smooth as well. So it's all leveled now. So there's not really any sort of notches of different level floorboards. Done loads more 40 grit back and forth. And yeah, my edges are looking a lot nicer. Clean up these. This is the trickiest one. I can't get under here very well, because this is still a different level, and you need a really, yeah, I don't know how I'm going to do that. I'm going to try again with a hand sander, try and get in there. But no, overall looking pretty good. There's a couple of bits I need to do like this, but now I've got this down. We had some planks over, so I didn't get at that before. Just around there, and actually all these notches which I showed before, these do come out, are with a 40 grit on the hand sander. So I just have a go at each one. Takes a while. I had to do it back and forth on all these. There's an earlier video where there was tons over here, but they're all gone now. I can get rid of most of them, and then we should be on to the 80 grit, and then hole filling, and then 120 grit, and then done. Well, other than the final floor covering. So we're actually progressing really well. It's exhausting stuff, but I really love it. It's really light, so much better. Just for reference, here is the next door room. This is what it was before. This, all this floorboard, that's what it was before. So what a change. Look at that. Absolutely superb. Been one hell of a day. So we're now done 80 grit. Have a look at this. This is 80 grit. Guess it doesn't really look different in the videos, but it's a lot smoother. You can tell already. And now is the time leaving the sawdust on here, because this stuff here mixes with the sawdust and creates a sawdusty paste, which then should go and fill all the cracks, particularly all these nail punches that I punch down nails, and it will just basically smooth that over. And then when we do the final sand, which will be at the 120 grit, although I could do another 80 grit, but yeah, diminishing marginal returns. That will just then level off any of that stuff if it gets a bit bobbled anywhere. So I'm going to give that a go, and I'll put this on a bit of a time lapse, and we'll see how we get on. I've generous to myself, done about a third of the room. That is bloody hard work. I see why people prefer airy floorboards, having gaps in the middle. But yeah, it gets really dry. You have to just keep topping up with the stuff. But I think I filled most of the holes on this side, and then when that dries, you just sand off on the next sand. So it's a lot of work for just filling in some gaps, which inevitably there's going to be in an old house. So I don't know if I'll do it in all the rooms, but let's just see how it goes in this room, and we progress from there.